Excitable podcast. My name is Topham, and with me this week is Adam. Hey man, how's it going?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing alright. It's been a bit of a weird time recently because it's like really warm in the UK and we don't have aircon. So, you know, my apartment gets super hot and then I'm just like, yes, I will try and do some sleepies. But, I don't get much sleepies at all. And it's just all around not great time.
Yep,
But,
it's too hot. I don't care what anyone says. It's not nice. It's nice in controlled bursts.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yeah, because of the way our country is, with no aircon in like homes and stuff, it makes it particularly not that nice sometimes. I am not enjoying it.
Scotland has this wonderful phenomena where the moment the sun comes out, everyone celebrates. Everyone goes, this is what we've been waiting for. Summer started. And then it's like a 3-day window. If it's 2 days in a row, everyone's like, oh, this is amazing. If it's 3 days, everyone goes, oh, this is so good. And the 4th day, everyone's like, all right, big yellow orb in the sky. Can you not? And everyone gets mad.
Stop now and move away.
Too much.
Oh dear. So yeah, that's what's been happening. I've been like trying to figure out what to do with myself, because I have decided I should probably stop playing Destiny for a while and start playing other games. And then I'm just like, what other games should I play? So I've been looking at a bunch of games that I want to get, and they are all games I've played before, apart from like Kingdom Hearts 2.8, whichever that one is. There's like the newest shiny one that's got extra stuff in it, all of which sounds like nonsense. I want to get like Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD remasters, and then in like a month and a half, Final Fantasy 12 remaster comes out, and I'm really excited about that because it was really good and people didn't give it a chance, or they did, and I don't know.
Each of those is like a 200-hour game. Like,
I know. And I need to find somewhere to sink all my time, and those suit the bill perfectly. And then we've got the Crash Bandicoot remaster coming out as well, which I'm very excited about because Crash Bandicoot's like my jam. Like Crash Bandicoot 3 is the first game I know I completed.
oh wow. That's cool.
And so, yeah, the remaster coming out might be the most exciting thing that's coming out all year, even though Destiny 2's coming out this year. So, you know...
How are you feeling for Destiny 2?
I'm glad it's coming, but I shouldn't have watched the reveal stream as much as I wanted to watch it. Like, I watched it, and then afterwards it's just like, oh, they showed me too much. I am not happy. And now I just want to play the game. Like,
oh, okay, yeah, that's fair.
Like, now I just want to play the game, and they've like, oh, this is where the story starts, and this is how it goes, and I'm just like, oh, I want to carry that story on right now. And so, yeah, I really want to get my hands on it, but there should be a beta late summer, but we'll get more news at E3, of which that's coming up soon. And yeah, that'll be interesting for sure. There's probably going to be a bunch of games that I'm not aware of that are going to pop onto my radar, and I'm just going to be like, yes, this is a thing I want to play.
I've been really bad at keeping up with what's coming out. Just because there's like so much stuff which, because of how things are in 2017, I understand that companies, they have to show stuff for investors, they need to keep people interested, they need to keep releasing stuff. But there's so many things where it's like, oh, this game is out. And I'm like, wasn't that out 2 years ago? Or, oh, that's not out yet. There's just so much stuff on the radar all the time. And I'm just never aware. Someone will be like, oh, I just finished this game. I'm like, what? I thought that was coming out in 2043. Like...
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm like. I'm just like, oh, there's all these games that I've seen so much about, and I'm just like, that isn't out yet, or oh, that's been out for like a year and a half, and I should get on that.
Yeah,
and so yeah,
it's just weird. Some of my friends who played Destiny a lot more than I, they said they were excited for Destiny 2. They said they'll be okay with it, even if it's the exact same game, but with a story from the start. So.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what to say about it, to be honest. It's just, I want to play it, I'm going to play it, but it's still like 4 months off, and then, yay, then it'll be out, and then I'll be able to play it.
I totally missed the Destiny train. Like, I don't know why I never really got into it. All my friends were hardcore into it, and on paper, it's like the exact kind of game that I should love. And every time I played it, I was like, man, this is a lot of fun. But I just never kept coming back to it. I don't know why.
Yeah, it was weird because it like came out and the reviews were very mixed to poor, with IGN giving it a 6.5 that they couldn't stop playing. And then like when the update came out a year later, the third expansion came out, it fixed a whole bunch of the issues and they revised the score up to 9.5. So,
oh wow.
But the first year was kind of dry and absent of things to do. But yeah, somehow it hooked me into playing, and I made some friends for it. I think that's mainly how I kept playing it. It's just like, yes, this is a way for me to play. But yeah, but I can't wait for the new one to come out. But I've been spending my day playing the game called Steep, which is a snowboarding, skiing, and paragliding game. And I've been having a wonderful time just exploring the mountainous areas that are in the game, and I'm having a wonderful time because I'm just like, I need to chill out if I'm going to play games. Because I'd also tried to write some music this morning and that didn't go well. But I did go running as well, so you know, swings and roundabouts. I went running, yay! I couldn't write any music, so I'll just play a game to chill out, and maybe that'll because I can just pause it and then pick up guitar and be like, yes, this is a good time.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Maybe it's just because you have like a life and I'm a loser, so it's a different level. But it's like, so I've been playing a ton of Overwatch, just always. Me and my friends were just hardcore into Overwatch, playing stupid amounts all the time. And just me and the guys that play Overwatch with, we decided we're going to commit and get a lot of the new Minecraft achievements because we haven't played it since all the massive updates.
Ooh, nice.
Like going to the end city and stuff. And it's just it's the complete opposite of everything being 110% sensory overload of, oh my god, there's bullets and guns and everyone's dying and it's so crazy, we're all yelling at each other because someone messed up and we're all dead. To like, oh wow, I'm going to catch some fish, you're going to build an axe, we're going to cut down this tree, we're all going to have a nice time.
Yeah, I might play Minecraft today actually as well, because Rachel and I's world has 2 end cities we can go to, and we've got an elytra each, and
oh wow,
we've had this world for so long,
yeah.
And it has so many things. We have like 40. I don't know if we have 40 diamond blocks or a full stack of 64 and 40 diamond blocks. Like that's how much resources we've like gathered.
Oh, it's funny because we haven't, as a group, we hadn't played Minecraft like together since maybe 4 or 5 years ago, like on and off, and then we'd only come back to it every now and then. So there's so much stuff, like we were talking about powering a beacon, and I was having to explain all these new mechanics, and this we were kind of hoarding diamond like we used to when it was so rare. I was like, no, but the map is giant now, so even if we exhaust the
resource,
yeah,
that's what you're trying to say. You were so close, and then you're just like, I'm gonna give up on this.
If we exhaust the resources of this map, we can just move to the next block. We've got a bazillion more mines to die in. So
yeah,
yesterday was a very stressful day. I got withered in the nether, and then it was the mad dash to get all the cool stuff that I had, and it was the heartbreaking moment when I realized that I was like just around the corner from the portal. I was so sad.
What difficulty are you playing on? Because I'm playing on easy, and it's just fun and chilled.
Yeah,
out.
we tend to play on easy, but which is a good balance. But there's still 1,000,001 creepers everywhere.
Oh yeah,
just you can't build a nice house unless you build a giant fence around it, because it just ends up being the moon. There's just craters everywhere.
Yeah.
We had a funny thing. Our house has like an attic room in it, which I guess just wasn't well enough lit. But I was at a brewing stand. I turned around to look in a chest, and I turned around again, and a creeper had spawned standing on top of the brewing stand. And I was like, what? It was just standing there looking at me. So I like Minecraft. I mean, it's good for weaving your own narrative. That's a lot of the fun of games like Minecraft.
Yeah. I was like, I'm going to grab a fire resistance potion and hop into the nether. And then I came back with 109 ghast tears.
What?
Yeah.
You got like a super bow, and you're just popping.
I've got
like
a
balloons?
bow and a not a fortune sword, a looting sword.
Oh yeah.
So you can shoot the arrow, switch over to the sword, and when the arrow hits the ghast, you get the looting from the
that's
sword.
great.
And it's like, "Yee!" And then they drop like 3 or 4 ghasters. It's like, this is
God.
the best.
That's amazing.
So like, yeah, that's a thing to do.
Our nether portal was in the worst place. It just spawned. It was like on the edge of one of those death cliffs. It's a sheer drop into lava, and then it was right next to a nether fortress, which you're like, oh, that's really cool. But then it's also, which means it's next to 2 blaze spawners. So the first time we came out, it was like walking into a war zone. It's just pandemonium. We're like, oh no! So we ran back out, came back in with all the cobblestone we could find, and just built a Trump-esque wall to protect ourselves. It was all we could do.
Not to mention imaginary, no.
I mean, what?
Oh dear. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun in Minecraft. I need to dive into Minecraft and have even more fun, because I like playing that game because it's a lot of fun. I've been playing a lot of Diablo as well. Actually, I managed to complete my level, my level 70 solo Greater Rift, which was kind of challenging. I don't know how many attempts I made. It must have been like 15. And then I got my first primal bit of kit, which was a thing with stuff on it. Yeah, it has like, they roll with perfect stats, and they have a red border. But the one I got was a useless one. It was just like, it had no special stats to it or like special legendary affix. And I was like, oh, this is a bit disappointing.
One of the things I love about games like Diablo, and maybe this is just the hardcore nerd in me, but I always have like attack damage and stuff on, so you can see it flying on the screen.
Yep, same
How
here.
much damage you do. Just because it's always really satisfying. I know Dragon Age was like this, and there's quite a lot of JRPGs are like this. But when you go from doing like 4 damage at the start of the game to doing critical hits that are like 7, 8, 9 figures, and you're like, oh yeah. Like, there's a Japanese game, Disdia, which has an achievement in it for doing 10 billion damage with 1 hit.
Nice. I hit a crit in Diablo for 121 billion. I was like, but it doesn't give you billion, so it was 121,000 million. I was like, oh, this is very nice. It's a real big number.
Oh, that's always great, just when you see the numbers and they just take up so much of the screen. It's just so satisfying.
Yeah.
So if you hit a massive crit and it just like pops out the super dark black text.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to getting into Final Fantasy X again because of like all the celestial weapons and then doing all the things to get them, and then
playing Blitzball.
Actually, it takes me always like 5 seasons to get a good team together, and then suddenly I'm just like, I won't lose again. It's just like, oh, it's
I
so
just
much
find
fun.
I get way too into it. I'm like sitting there like Football Manager style, just like stressing out.
Yeah, it gets crazy. But I'm looking forward to getting back into Final Fantasy X just because like there's the celestial weapons, then you've got to get perfect armor drops from the creatures, or shield drops from the Dark Aeons, and then you have to repeat that and make sure you don't even need to repeat it. You need to make sure that you can get exactly what you want from them, and that it's for the right character as well, and that it's got 3 of the affixes that you need, and it's a whole thing that I cannot wait to get back into, and that's like one of my favorite games.
Oh, I absolutely loved Final Fantasy X. To me, it's right up there with Skies of Arcadia, which was on Dreamcast, and then they did a like remaster, quote unquote, on GameCube, which I absolutely loved. And there are rumors that a new version or a remaster might come out on
Nice.
At E3, and if that happens, I'll be over the moon because I absolutely love that game.
Awesome.
I absolutely worshipped Skies of Arcadia. So here's hoping. Things, words, brains, fantasy.
Woo! Yeah, I'm hoping there's something interesting that catches my eye coming from E3. Because it'd be nice to like play a new game or something entirely new. I'm sure there's plenty of games that already exist that I need to play. Like I could get Stardew Valley and just be like, I can play this for hours, or Well, what? Because that's on like console as well, and I'm just
It's on
like,
everything.
oh, that looks cool. Then yeah, there's just so many other games that I've just probably not even considered that'd be worth playing. The game that came out last year that I wanted to play the most was the remaster of Modern Warfare. I'm just like, but that's because that campaign was just ridiculously good. But you know, oh well. Fun times. So yes.
It's true. Just because we're on the topic of fantasy and stuff, and because
Yes.
you need to guide me in the ways of true nerddom, is
Okay.
that I have recently been asked to DM a campaign, which will be my first time in the world of Dungeons and Dragons doing that properly.
Nice.
Because I've only ever done that for either to fill in or for short sessions. And
Oh.
I wondered if you had any great advice for me.
Ooh, okay. So I've not really done any dungeon mastering, but I am building a world that I
Yeah.
prospectively will be throwing people into soon. So I'm planning like certain little events to go on. It's understanding that you're going to have an overarching story that you want them to achieve, but you can't necessarily push them in that direction
Yeah.
if they don't want to go in that direction. And then being able to change rapidly about things. But if you were to, say, send them off down a dungeon, here's one of the things I learned, is that if you've got a group going down a dungeon or down a path, and then there's two options of which way they need to go. And you can essentially, rather than saying, oh yeah, there's a fight down one and down the other way, it's a safe passage. You can have one encounter that no matter which way they go, they're going to encounter.
Yeah.
Because then you've got a combat that you've planned and you know it's going to be there, but maybe it comes up immediately as they turn a corner, or if like down one path, or it can come further down a path after they've looted some rooms and found some other interesting things that are going on. So what I think the thing to take away from that point is that only plan what you want your party to be doing. So if you do plan an encounter, let them experience the encounter and see how they're going to do things, rather than saying, oh, they didn't go down that path. Oh, what a shame, they could have found this really awesome encounter that I planned for them, or this bit of treasure or loot. And don't generously give out magical items and things like that. Like, just make sure that things like that are rare and hard to come across, because they should be. Determine like how your magic's going to work. Are you going to have magic in abundance across the land, or is any of your spellcasters then in like a world that's stripped of magic and it's uncommon? Are they then going to be basically picked on by just regular enemies? And how does magic play a role in your world?
Yeah.
Because it's, I don't know, it's just those like big oversights. Like the world I'm thinking of, it has, I don't know, it's got there's magic there, but it's kind of underlying, and and really you've got the magic user. I've like created in my mind this magic users guild, and they control most of the power of the magic. And what I've decided is that there's a lot of cities. There's not a lot of cities. There's a few cities dotted around the place. And every, say, 20 years or so, the people in the places have decided that they're going to go and try and make it on their own. But everyone eventually ends up returning to the cities. Now, what I want my characters to do is to discover why people can't make it out in the world, what trials and tribulations they face. And then, there's like the Magic Users Guild have decided that there's teleporting portals around the place, and that if the party do come across these teleporting portals around the world, they should report it and not use them at all. Oh no, that would be bad. So of course you're going to like tempt your group into doing certain things that you want them to do by telling them not to do it, because how do you get anyone to do anything in a game? Tell them not to do something and they'll try it immediately.
It's one of those things. I think I'm a little apprehensive / anxious, and I think one of the reasons is I haven't played any of 5th Ed. That's like how long ago it's been since I played. Like everyone I played with was like 4.5 or whatever. But there's everyone who ever DM'd any of the sessions I were in were super hardcore like OTT preparation type people. So it's the kind of thing where I could guarantee when they showed us their world map, they've made a like battle map for every single room in every single building in every city in their continent. Like they are those kind of people. Whereas I just kind of like things just being freeform and whatever. I mean, I know plenty of people who play without a battle map at all.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of trying to strike a balance, because I'm not really sure. Maybe it's just a case of just do it, and if it fails horribly, I'll guess that I won't do it that way again. But kind of seeing what's an appropriate level of preparation and the ways to improvise encounter stuff. I mean, I know there's a ton of stuff online, like dungeon generators and stuff, just for if something crops up. But I guess that's one of the things that I'm most anxious about, like how much story is too much story and stuff like that. Because I know obviously you don't want to just force people through a series of set pieces that you've invented and tell them how they're supposed to end, because as we know, people like to ruin things, and you don't know if one of your players could decide to freak out and then have a TKP and just like kill everyone, or like they could be like, hey, here's this quest person who I needed you to meet, and they're like, hey, how about I stab him in the face? Like
it also just use dice rolls to your advantage. Just be like
escape.
Just use dice rolls to your advantage. Just be like, okay, something's gonna happen, you roll. It's like, oh, nothing does happen, or something happens in the background, or use it to say, oh, you've got spiders attacking you. There are... Roll a few times and be like, there's 7 of them attacking you.
Yeah.
And just, have a, like... Also, one of the things that I've definitely... I don't know where I saw this, but have a list of names of, like, places and characters. So as soon as you, like, introduce someone... or just a random NPC, just be like, this is their name, and just pull it from the list and strike it off. And just be like, and then just write down a note as to where they found them. Just so the world becomes a bit more believable, and you can make it seem that even though you've just created this character, like they have a bit of backstory. And you can just be like, yes, you've encountered this person, roll a cheeky D20 and just be like, oh, they've got this job off of a random job list. It's just being able to quickly improvise or follow a set of dice rolls to create a character nice and quick that makes it believable. But any of the like important characters that it should be meeting should be planned before. But that's like D&D 101 really.
Yeah.
Just they need to know the big characters they're meeting, and they need to know like their overall goal, and then is there an ogre behind door A or door B? It's behind both of them until you open the first door. It's behind that door, whichever door they open first. So it's just I don't know, thinking about things in like a big picture kind of way, rather than trying to plan it out to the tiniest detail, which I know people do, but your party's gonna miss things that you consider important, and you've got to understand and like speak to the party as well, and like after a session just be like, what did you understand from that, and just try and gauge feedback and make sure that they all understood what you were doing, and then change your storytelling approach should they not understand something that's going on. But it's that's just general teaching stuff as well, anyway.
Yeah,
so
it's true. It's one of those things which I think is quite. I suppose one of the other sources of my anxiety here is it's basically a lot of new players have asked me to play because they know that I play, and they're like, "Hey, we'd like to get into this." So I mean, I don't mind doing it, and it's fun. But I've always played with quite experienced groups. I've basically always been the least experienced person.
Okay.
And generally, in the groups that I've played with, we all take things pretty chill. Like, no one's really that bothered. But, like, that guy I know who DMs, who plans everything out to the finest detail, that's just how he rolls. It's how he likes to do things. He'll create a full world. I mean, he used to work in games design, and I think it really shows. Like, he would make a full world map and all the cities, and he would know the name of every shopkeeper and every business and stuff, and it's all in his brain because he knows what he's doing. And then I know that he runs a session with some other people that I'm not part of, where they take it like all their rules are super strict. Like, basically, if you break character, you get penalized and stuff like that, and it's all God, you have to do this, and you're not allowed to. They have a signal for like if you're going to be speaking out of character for like I need to go to the bathroom or no, I have to take this phone call or whatever. But otherwise, and it's like in combat, they have a thing where it's when it's your turn, and if you're not ready to go within like 5 seconds, you miss your turn, and it's all.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know they like it to be like on and on and on and on for like the 4 hours that they play once a week, and I'm just like, oh God, that's hardcore. Couldn't do that.
My group, if we sit down for like 2.5 hours and we don't get distracted, it's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's just, I can't resist my natural urge, even if I'm playing like the most generic of generic, like lawful, angelic, like paladins. But if there's an opportunity for like a dirty dick joke, it's gonna come out. Like, it's just, my sense of humor will pop out and be like, well, he didn't say that because it's not within character, but I'm trying to make you laugh. Like,
one of my characters is like that, so I play it exactly like that because that's how I wanted to play it. So yeah, it's been a good
just
time.
giving yourself those opportunities. But yeah, I think it's nice that I don't know what's happened. Maybe it's just TV or popular culture or whatever. But Dungeons and Dragons, bunny ears, air quotes, is like seems or just general role playing stuff seems a bit less taboo than it was. I don't know. It felt like a few years ago. You'd kind of mention that and people just raise eyebrows and be like, either I don't know what that is or isn't that nerdy thing. And now people are just like, that's whatever. It's just...
It also helps that, like, for me, it also helps that I've surrounded myself in a culture where that is supported. And, like, people have been doing it for a while. Whereas I'm sure there's still people... I don't know anyone that's like... oh, that's nonsense, why are you wasting your time with that? But that's just because I think everyone knows me. And they're just like, okay, that makes sense. Like,
that's
for you to do that, you're a nerdy person.
I really like... I always try and drag new people in. That's why I'm running a session with a load of new players and stuff.
Yeah.
I just like it when people exercise their imagination.
Yes.
I'm a total snob and I don't care. But... stuff like Game of Thrones, the TV show and stuff, kind of bothers me. Not because, like, it's just not for me. It's just not my kind of TV. I think we've talked about Game of Thrones before on the podcast. But
maybe, but I don't know. I'd have never brought it up because I've never watched it, and
it
doesn't
like,
grab me either. So maybe I don't know.
It's like I get that people like it for whatever, and sure, but as someone who read some of the books when I was younger, and again, the books weren't totally for me. It's just not my kind of story and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's funny, so when I was younger, when I was like 10, 11, 12, the people I knew who were associated with Game of Thrones were the kind of people who, again, I'm going to have like tiers of nerd snobbery, but the kind of people who I would be like, oh, these are my nerdy friends, whatever nerdy means. They would say like, oh no, those guys are like proper losers by our standards. Those were the people who read Game of Thrones. The people would be like, oh no, he like literally is a stereotype. He lives in his parents' basement and doesn't do anything. Like, those are the kind of people I knew associated with Game of Thrones because it's like a stereotypical geeky nerdy wet dream. Like, that's what the book is. And the TV show is just someone else's imagination filming and animating it, so you don't need to imagine it. That's why I like books and stuff. That's why people always say the book's better than the film. It's because you have an expectation and something didn't meet it because what you imagined will never be the same unless you directed it and had an infinite budget. Like and that's why I like stuff like Dungeons and Dragons. It's just fun to use your imagination and just do whatever you want, and
it is fun to play. One other point I should make is just make sure you understand all of the characters that you're playing with, because sometimes they might miss their own abilities. Or like their stats, or which ones they're trying to like what stat they're trying to read. It's just easier if you have like familiarity with what they're trying to do. What was the other point that was going to go alongside that? Oh, my brain. No. Something to do with the fact that I don't know anything.
Rules, characters, abilities,
Rules,
races,
characters, abilities.
something.
Yeah, just make sure. Yeah, make sure they all understand that unless you're asking for a specific dice, a D20 is the most important dice they're going to have.
Yeah.
Because I've had, like, while we're playing, like, the first few sessions, everyone always asks, what dice am I rolling? And it's always a D20 unless you're in combat or healing yourself. And once you're in combat or healing yourself, you're then using spells and stuff. And, like, yeah, a D20 is the all-powerful dice in Dungeons and Dragons until you get to, like, the smaller things, which are combat. It just took a while for everyone to understand that, a D20 is the only dice I need until very specific times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you were running a session for new players, what were
Yes.
things that you'd want to tick off? Now, I know that's the a super, super vague and terrible question. Because at the end of the day, I think one thing which people can get caught up in, especially when you start getting more into tabletop role-playing games and stuff, is at the end of the day, you need to have fun.
Yeah.
Like, I always find it weird when you get some DMs who are kind of like, oh yeah, but this dungeon's meant to kill all of you. And there are some people who like enjoy that in kind of that Dark Souls way. I know people will play like a one-day campaign with characters they've pre-made, and it's like, right, it's me versus all of you, and we're going to see what happens, or whatever. But at the end of the day, everyone should just have fun.
Yep.
And so I think what I'm planning to do is I'm going to be DM, but I'm also going to play an NPC because I think everyone in the group, I think maybe only one person's done so much role playing before. So it's just kind of like I'd just kind of a lead by example almost type thing. And also that way, if I make the NPC a little bit brawnier, if they get themselves in a sorry situation, you can help out. But because I'm playing him, he can just back off and not get too involved.
Yeah, totally. I would totally try and make the combats in the first few sessions not necessarily easy, but nowhere likely that someone will get killed. And then from there, I'd try and... So in the first session, I'd aim for 2 combats to try and get things flowing. It should be nice and simple. If they're starting at a low level, then they'll slowly get used to combat. And then as you level up, you'll slowly get access to more and more skills, which will then make combat more intricate, but at the same time, they should have more experience with combat, so they should know what they're doing. And then just try and lead them to people to kickstart the story, or explain what's going on in the world and how they fit into it. Trying to do that over 2.5 to 4 hours should be achievable. If it isn't achievable, then maybe the story is too convoluted, or you're trying to start an arc that is going to take a longer period of time to actually resolve. So maybe you should reconsider and try and make a shorter arc for the beginning that will then feed into a much bigger story.
I'm really hoping that this group comes together and enjoys it and wants to make it a regular thing, because I would really like that too. So the idea that I've got is they're basically starting with kind of a mini escort quest, the most generic and boring of all fantasy things. But especially for new role players, maybe I'm going to be totally off and they'll totally surprise me. But I'm kind of expecting that, because the setup is basically going to be, they're all going to be in a tavern or whatever. They've all answered an ad for mercenaries wanted, and then the meeting place is this pub at this time, and the quest is going to be, hey, I need you to help get me from A to B because I suck or whatever. And I'm assuming, just because of people who aren't particularly new to roleplaying, it is definitely getting your brain into that space, and your imagination to that space. I imagine there'll be a lot of, oh well, I guess we're just going to go outside and find our way to the road to get to this place, right? We're just going to do that straight away. And there's a bunch of different ways I've been thinking of trying to start my campaign as well. So do I say they all answered an ad, or have they all been captured? How are they all drawn together?
what way are they drawn together? That's also going to be like, I don't know, how they get drawn together is also almost as important as what story elements are they going to be coming up against. Because someone might make a character that's just like, oh, I don't really like fighting, but I will defend myself, whereas other people might be like, I really like fighting. And then how do you make those characters work together? Then becomes an issue. But most people who are doing it are going to be like, yes, my character really likes fighting. It's like, well, great.
It's one of those things, especially for new players. Usually every session I've been involved with, we have like a session 0. We like meet up before and just talk about like, right, what do you expect from this? And, you know, what kind of tone are we going to take, just so that everyone's kind of on the same page. And even just practical stuff like, right, if we're going to do it at my house, can we make sure it's tidy before we leave? And stuff like that. Just to get that stuff out of the way. But I don't think I'm going to have that luxury with these people just because of everyone's schedule. And I'm a little bit apprehensive about characters because they've all just said, do whatever you think is best. They've just kind of asked me to invent characters for them because they said they'd rather just get a sheet of information and go. And I'm trying to find all of them and speak to them one by one and be like, right, I'm going to give you, you know, your stats and your thing, and then let's talk about what race do you want to be, how do you want to play, and just like, I want you to fill in some of your own backstory because that way you're invested in the character. I don't want you to just be like reading from a script because that's boring for everyone.
I think one of the things I do every time is like, every time I'm making a character is there's like, they've got their own, like, there's backgrounds written in the player's handbook, and it's like, I can look at this, but every time I'll write out a full A4 page by hand about my character, so then I can understand where it's coming from. Sometimes I'll get to the end of the page, it's like, well, I didn't expect that to go where it went. And that's always like the most interesting part, and then you can draw elements from that will affect your character. So I think like you said, it's important to get the people you're playing with to actually really understand their characters and really even start role-playing the character before they have to start role-playing the character.
Yeah, for sure, because I think, you know, that's a big part of where it comes from. You know, you always need to be thinking, right, well, what would my character do in this situation? Which can be, especially if you're playing someone who's not very like you at all, can be quite tricky for some people to put themselves in that space of like, oh, well, I would never start a fight with this barkeep who just insulted me, but my character would cave his face in, so that's what's going to happen. It's making sure that they understand there has to be separation between them and the character. I mean, there doesn't have to be, but if the character calls for it, then there should be. Yeah, like you shouldn't just go, oh, well, this is inherently against my intrinsic value, therefore this character absolutely won't do that. Whereas if you're playing like some kind of bloodthirsty pirate barbarian and you're quite conservative, you know, you might have difficulty rectifying those two things. And it's just kind of, or maybe, you know, that's the kind of thing where you should just look at it and go, maybe I should play another character, or, you know, maybe you should just try looking at it another way. But at the end of the day, just have fun. I think sometimes people forget to have fun when you're staring at spell sheets and stats and you're planning combats and stuff. I think that's the thing that I'm a little bit anxious about is combat and taking a group through combat for the first time, because I know it can be really daunting when you have abilities and you have tables and you have to understand your weapons and stuff. And
start them at level 1 and then just be like, you don't have really any abilities, just go and hit things, or if you're a spellcaster, cast some spells, and then we can understand it all together so that we can learn. But I don't know, that's the way I would do it. But
I'm excited, and I think it's a case of just making sure I'm not over planning. Just because there's going to be a lot of, who knows, if you start your quest in a pub after your 4-hour session, they could have spent the entire time drinking in the pub and then starting a bar fight. They could have gotten one line into the story that you've written or whatever.
Yes.
But yeah, it should be fun, and I'm excited. Do you play much D&D online, or is it all in person?
No, all in person at the moment. I did play some online. We had a really good campaign with like Kelly and Dom. And then a bunch of other people too. Emma and Matt and the other one. Oh no, I've forgotten the other person's name.
You can just edit it in.
Will and Matt, Will and Matt are the other two that I was thinking of. Yeah, anyway,
do you guys play with a battle map? And do you guys draw it?
We do have a battle map. We'll only draw it out in like big combats. In little combats, we'll just place everything on the table unless there's environmental hazards. just so that everyone knows where they are and the confines of the area. But it's only when it's necessary. Because usually it's not that bad. It's better to have like, I don't know, minifigures just so you can visualize where people are standing. But that's, I don't know, that's extra stuff that doesn't necessarily need to be done.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know, like, yeah, it should be, yeah, I don't know, it should just be fun, and it should be whatever helps it remain simple and easy to use and easy for everyone to understand. So the battle map with characters is handy. It's useful. It definitely helps everyone understand where they are. I do have some ideas for some like room-based puzzles.
Yeah.
And for those, I'm gonna have to draw maps out for each one of them and be very particular about where everything's positioned, because it'll all make sense, but only. But only once it's drawn out. So you just gotta make sure things like that are planned. But if just in combat, I would just try and make sure that there's a space where everyone can be, and we can understand distances between things. It's I don't know. I find it super handy, but I don't know. I probably would recommend it as just something to have.
I think if in doubt, my plan is just going to be have a sheet of, a load of sheets of appropriately sized graph paper, and then just if they start a fight somewhere that wasn't kind of planned or whatever, I'll just scribble something out and just make it up on the spot. Be like, okay, so you're in this room, and I guess there's a table here, and the dudes are here, and then I'll just kind of just judge it, and then if I totally screw it up, whatever. I'll just, if I end up making the situation really bad, I'll just slyly nerf like the bandits or whatever without telling anyone. Be like, oh no, their health just dropped by 20 points. How unexpected.
Oh, what a shame.
He suddenly realized he was anemic.
One of them leans up against a wall, and somehow some not barriers. Oh,
barrels?
No, yeah, okay, let's go with barrels. Falls and rolls them over a little bit.
One of them gets a call from his mother, and his father is having a heart attack. He must go immediately.
Oh dear. But yeah, D&D's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. I'd like to do a recorded campaign. I wouldn't mind finding a group to do that with online, just because it's fun.
Yeah.
And there are so many cool websites which you can use to make cool stuff and make it run really smoothly.
Yeah, definitely. Like Roll20 and maybe some other things. Roll20 is the only one I know of, but
I use a few like Donjon and stuff just for spell and equipment reference. I like the Donjon stuff a lot. It's got like a big compendium of magic items, and that's a really good thing I like having open to make up magic items, just so you can like know where something is relative to, because you can like put in information and stuff. So it's good to see, like make sure you're not giving someone something massively overpowered. You can see if it's an appropriate level and stuff like that.
All right. Cool.
But, yeah, things.
Cool. Where can we find you across the internet?
I am on the Twitters at AdamCastle13, and I live by the name Attitude Castle on bits of the internet, or Attitude 13, or any combination of the words Attitude, Adam, Castle, and 13. It's probably me.
Awesome. Awesome. I can be found across the internet at Ithfor or at Destroy Topham, and that's in a bunch of places. This is the Easily Excitable podcast, and thank you, Adam, for being my guest this week.
Yay! Thank you for having me.
No problem, and have an exciting week, everyone. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Yay!